And we are live with Director of Player Personnel and Sales for Salina Liberty out of Kansas, Dylan Mendicina. Dylan, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So how's recruiting season going? You're coming off kind of a tough year with the Liberty, 1-11, I believe. What's going on? What's the atmosphere of the team like right now?
The atmosphere is solid right now. We got ever since we had a new sense of direction with we hired a new COO about midway through the year last year, and ever since we brought him on board, it's kind of changed into a new direction. We had a new motto: "Excellence begins today." We brought in a coach that was 100% full time to recruiting. We never had that before. And so the whole atmosphere completely changed, and the dynamic, the ownership, the general manager, it was a whole new setup, and it's just been 100% go ever since, and it's been awesome. It's been awesome to work with our new coach, Reno. He's a great guy. He's fun to work with, and he knows what he wants, and he goes out and gets it. He tells me what he needs, and that's all I do.
That's excellent. I spoke with him a couple of days ago, actually. He says that you guys are in search of a kicker. So
yes, that's what we need. Usually we're getting ready for a tryout right about now, but we never had a full team installed, and the only thing we need is a dang kicker right now.
Well, we'll be sure to help you guys find one, definitely.
Appreciate it.
So talk about, the COO, the organization. A lot of people, a lot of fans don't understand what goes into the actual success of a football organization. And, people think that if you have great players or if you have a good coach, like that's it. But really, the team's got to be profitable. It's got to be a culture of winning from the top down. Kind of touch on how that's changed for you guys over the course of last season.
I'll just kind of give you the background. When the Salina Liberty got together, it was a bunch of owners. They saw how the Salina had a team before for 3 years, and they fell financially. They fell through, and they saw how Salina accepted football, and they just wanted to bring football back. They didn't care how. They didn't know what the pieces to the puzzle or what it took to win or be successful in this league, but they just knew they wanted to bring football back to Salina, and so they just jumped in. Great, we got it. Okay, now what do we do? What's the next step? They didn't really know how to take that next step, and we had a lot of learning curves in that first year and that second year. We learned a lot about the direction we wanted to go and what we needed to do to be successful on the field and off the field. How are we going to go through ticket sales? How are we going to promote the team? How are we going to get events? How are we going to get families to the games? And when Ricky Burks is a great guy. He's a great mind. He knows that marketing, that operations, and he did that well down in Dodge City when he was with them. He's bringing that element to us that we didn't know. And that is really the main difference on how to market the team, how many events we want to do, how we want to be out in the community, how are we going to drive sponsorships, that kind of thing. He really brought that. He was that centerpiece that we were needing to kind of bend the bridges together. It never really got going on the football field, but now that we have a whole scouting team in place, we have a whole coaching staff in place who are on salary, and this is what they're going to do. In years past, you could have part-time coaches, you could have part-time recruiting and this and that, and they have a full-time job somewhere else. But now the league has gotten to a point where it is the largest indoor football league in the United States. And so these jobs, when they come open, they're premier jobs for coaches looking to coach. And so we had to go out and make sure if we wanted to compete, we had to be at that level. And so we made sure financially we were set in that direction, and we made sure that our scouting and player personnel and that team we had a really set goal on what we wanted to do and get that thing moving in the right direction.
Well, it seems like the timing is absolutely right. I mean, you're coming into a year, like you said, the CIF is now the largest indoor football league in the United States. It seems like it may be the premier league in years to come with all the talent, with the Sioux Falls Storm dropping down. Talk about the Sioux Falls Storm and their influence on the league and what that's going to kind of do. I saw the Bloomington Edge just went up to the IFL along with, remind me.
West Michigan.
Exactly. That's from West Michigan.
The league is starting to get so competitive now. It's just kind of scary to a point, Sioux Falls is a good team. I mean, they've been competitive up there in the IFL for years. It's going to bring another dynamic to this league. Texas Revolution, they're constantly good. And so now this is going to bring another dynamic in that north that, this north and south is probably going to be pretty competitive for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so, obviously with the more competition, the harder it's going to be to bring players in. What's your guys' recruiting strategy? Are you looking for guys in the area, and how do you compete against all these teams that are really centrally located in the Midwest?
Well, first off, Ron O'Neill and his coaches, they have their core guys that they've coached in years past, and they have their network, and they go after those. But what we really want to do is try to bring a local flavor to the organization. There's players in this state and around Missouri, Oklahoma, a lot of D2 schools, guys that are just on the cup, not necessarily on maybe a few steps behind, but they're trying to get noticed, and they're very, very talented. They just need that exposure. And the D2 schools in the state, and we want to try to bring a local flavor because there's people around Salina. There's a lot of D2 schools that people follow when they go to game days on Saturday, and they want to see those guys play in Salina. And so we try to do our best to try to bring the talent around the league, and then try to bring a local flavor as well. Some guys that people around the area may know and want to come see play. Players they knew, like at Kansas State. If they went and saw them play at Kansas State and they get to see them come play in Salina, that's what we try to do. That's what we try to bring.
Right. Well, and that's, NFL teams do that, right? They usually bring in one or two local guys. It just helps with the fanfare, helps with the passion around the team, which it's just wise to do exactly that. You're going to get more fans in the process. So, touching on the personnel, when you get to, this time range, and actually more November, December, January, right after the college football season, you've got some guys who, like you said, are on the cusp of the NFL. Maybe they're not ready yet. How do you convince them that they need to sign and get arena and get film in order for them to have a shot at going to the NFL?
First thing I always tell guys, sometimes they come off as, they're too good for this league, or they don't want to necessarily take that route. They want to try it and hit the NFL, try to get every opportunity they can. But sometimes, it's an opportunity for them to get exposure. I always tell them it's better to play than sit around a year and not be in game shape. You can get in game shape, get some film out there, get some exposure, get some good talent, and when that year comes, Ron O'Neill will get you exposed. He sent over 50 guys to the NFL, CFL, AFL, next level. He gets guys to the next level, and that's what I tell them. If they want to get to the next level, this is an opportunity for you coming out of the Midwest. Some guys get forgotten around this area, and this is an opportunity for them to get that exposure and go on to the next level.
I love it. And how did you convince Coach O'Neill to come with the Liberty this year?
Well, we had another owner, Sean Harrington, on board, who is good friends with Ron O'Neill, and we were kind of eyeing him for a while and seeing what he was doing in Dodge City, and that was kind of like our next step. We were we were all in for him. We got the guy that we wanted, and we kind of used Sean Harrington, one of our owners, as a namesake in that, and trying to bring him there. We went down to dinner and that kind of thing. And they hit it off really well. His mindset aligned with the mindset of the owners and where they wanted to go, and he was excited about the opportunity. And it was a perfect fit. Everything kind of fell into place. He loved the general manager, loved the families, loved the owners, and he loved the community of Salina. And he wanted to come here. And so it kind of made it an easy transition once we got all that, broke that ice, and got that out of the way. I can't speak enough words about the guy. He's a stand-up guy. He's fun to work with, and I'm so glad that he's here because he's going to bring a winning mentality to Salina, and you're going to see Salina in a different light come next May. You're going to see it.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear. I'm excited to see it. One, so, along those lines, what are the goals for the Liberty in 2018? And since you've been with the organization, what are the long-term goals for the organization?
Some of the long-term goals, obviously financial reasons. We want to keep continuing our sponsorship growth. Despite our losses and our not so success on the football field, we added 27 new sponsors in our second year. And just so people are falling in love with it. And if we can continue that going in that direction and keep doubling and keep getting guys on board in that light, we're going to be fine. We're going to be okay. Now that we got the guys on the field to put the product on the field that we want, it's going to sell tickets. We're going to keep building this core team. I think we got a core of players that are going to stay around a long time. They've been playing together for a long time. And I think it's going to be, for a good amount of time that they're going to be playing together here in Salina. And it's just excited. The long-term goals is just win a championship. That's what we've talked about since we got this thing started, win a championship. Now we got the pieces in place to actually go out and do that. It's exciting. it's exciting to see. Everybody is so pumped up to be around it.
Good. It's exciting. Well, congratulations there. And my last question that I want to leave you with is, what about the status of arena football? Where is it headed? Is it going to be headed into truly a developmental league for the CFL, NFL? I mean, are more and more guys going to continue to be picked up to the upper levels?
I think so. I think it's a way for guys to get exposed. The coverages are different. The way it's played, speed is everything in this league. There's less guys on the field. There's a 50-yard field, but it's wide open. And guys that can show flashes and play in man coverage and press, and if you can excel at it in an indoor football, you might get an opportunity to play at the NFL level. You're pretty much on an island out there. All by yourself, guys with the high motion running 10 yards at you. If you can cover that, you can probably cover in the NFL or get an opportunity to, or get some exposure or get some good light and say, oh, this guy can play. But I think the indoor football is probably going to be a development league for a lot of players that are trying to get to the next level. Get some of that exposure, that 2 or 3 year period, and maybe try to make the jump. I've seen guys in this league do it a lot. There was a guy from Chicago who was a wide receiver who made an opportunity last year to play with Cincinnati. So it happens. It does happen.
Absolutely. And as you're saying, I mean, with the increase in level, with the increase in sponsors and funding to these organizations, it's the same way internationally. You're starting to see more investment. So you're starting to see higher talent levels, better coaching staffs, better scouting organizations, and we're getting options. Players are having options to play at a high level outside the NFL and CFL, which is so exciting. It's exciting for Podyum, obviously, as we try to connect players and coaches with international arena teams. And it's exciting for guys like you who are just invested in an organization and are shooting to win championships.
And it's awesome to have a platform like Podyum where we can go to and have a profile to go in there, advertise our jobs or our positions, and have it linked to thousands of guys. I think that is a breakthrough on your guys' part to help these teams out. I think it is an awesome thing, and I can't wait to start working with it and see what it does for us.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate that, Dylan. And yeah, maybe next year when Coach O'Neill doesn't have a full roster before November, you guys can utilize it a little more. But appreciate you having you on, Dylan, so much. I wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care, man.